Hi, everybody. This is Seth Lefberg again from Homestead Medical Experts with another episode of Let's Talk Experts. I am joined here today with Rosemary McGeady, Esquire from Levinson Axelrod. Hey, Rosemary, nice to see you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about, or tell the audience a little bit about yourself and about your firm?
Oh, it's good to be here, Seth. Uh, I came into law by a circuitous route. I had been practicing as an invasive cardiologist in New Brunswick, here in New Jersey, for a period of about 11 years. And then I switched careers, went to law school full time day, and I joined the medical malpractice team here at Levinson Axelrod full time in April of 2007. So I've been with our firm about 14 years now. Levinson Axelrod is a very large personal injury intensive firm where we do just about every aspect of personal injury, which would include general liability, construction site accidents, medical malpractice. We have a very active workers' comp department, and our managing partner, Richard Levinson, just had his 89th birthday, and he's still here every day.
Wow, what a firm! What a firm, and what an asset you must be there, being a doctor and an attorney. Let's talk a little bit about those medical malpractice cases. Let's talk. I would love to know about a very interesting or unique case that you had tried, where you had to find a unique expert or how to go about it a very interesting way. Do you have anything like that for us?
Yeah, actually, there's one case that comes immediately to mind, and that was back about 10 years ago. I was working with one of the senior partners, Mr. Ron Grazel, who told me to get the top academic expert that I could find for a very tragic infectious endocarditis case. Endocarditis, Seth, is an infection inside the heart involving the heart valves. And in this particular case, sadly, the infection went undiagnosed for 3.5 months before our client succumbed, and her uh, widow brought a cause of action for wrongful death.
So you had to find a special top-notch expert. That was what you were being requested of you, specific to endocarditis, right?
Well, in medical malpractice, we have to supply experts for every aspect of our case, as you well know. So, a liability expert for the family practitioner who failed to make the diagnosis timely, that was easy. Damages was also a very straight path, as we have economists that we had used for many years. But I needed the perfect causation fit. And the reason was that endocarditis is not a disease that's intuitively obvious. In this particular case, the endocarditis uh, was related to an infection around the base of a tooth. I needed someone who understood the microbiology, someone who understood the cardiac anatomy, someone who understood the entire disease process, sepsis, the roots of embolization of disease. And it was very difficult to find an expert of that sort. So I started in all the usual ways back then. Typing a name into the internet. I went on different listservs. I talked to my medical expert uh, headhunter firms,
Yep.
if you would, at the time. And no one was able to find me someone with the depth of expertise and the hands on experience that I needed, because endocarditis is still a rare disease. Uh, so after about a week of this, I had given up and Uh, I just sat back in my chair and I looked over at my bookcase, and there it's very slim tome in my bookcase. I went over, yeah, better look at it, and it was a book by John Brush out of Cambridge, Massachusetts, entitled Infectious Endocarditis. Of course, I had heard of Dr. Brush many times in my training in cardiology because he is the grandfather of infectious disease. He had done all of the research leading up to the present day treatment of this very lethal disorder. I called Dr. Brush, spent a couple of very pleasant days in Cambridge, Massachusetts with him, and eventually the case resolved for a client in a very satisfactory fashion before trial.
That's amazing. That's amazing. What a story to find, to look over and see the book with the expert that you're going to hire's name right on it. So, is that the first time that you hired somebody from literature or from a book or from a study that they published, or is that maybe the first time and then you've taken that route since?
I think the textbook authors are less important in today's environment than the persons who are writing actually online and updating very frequently in Medscape, eMedicine, Up to Date. That would be where I would look for equivalent experts now.
Yep.
Of course, now I have your services, Seth, and you've been able just in the last 18 months, I'm thinking, been able to find me a pediatric pulmonologist who specializes in the treatment of ventilator patients in a long-term care facility. I would never have found that person by myself. In addition to, I would think you could check the numbers for me, probably half a dozen other
Oh,
hard to find niche experts who are at the top of their game. Not only the best in medicine, but they know their way around a courtroom. They know how to write a report and how to comport themselves during a deposition, even a Zoom deposition
Zoom
nowadays.
depositions now, the new normal. Yeah, I appreciate you saying
Normal.
that. Rosemary, we love working with you and your firm, and we like, getting those challenges, those unicorns, those very difficult, experts to find and trying to dig in, and we love that feeling of getting them over to you and knowing it's the right expert. So again, look forward to a strong future together. Thanks for today, Rosemary.
Thank you, Seth. See you soon.
Bye.